How many games will the Houston Texans win in 2026? What's going on, Texans fans and guys? It's your boy Man Jones here, back with another NFL record prediction. And this time we'll be doing our record prediction for the Houston Texans for a 2026 NFL season. We're going to get things started here. I'm going to give you my game-by-game thoughts and my game-by-game analysis and game-by-game picks to see which games I think the Texans will win and which games I think the Texans will lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the Houston Texans for a 2026 NFL season, don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel more option, and comment down your opinion below to see how far the Texans will go. Do you think they'll make the playoffs and win the division, or do you think they'll take a step back and maybe miss out on the playoffs? Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Week 1, they get things kicked off against the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, this is definitely a game that can definitely go either way. Um, obviously, I kind of really think, I know most people could be picking the Bills to win because I feel like the Bills are a better team and they do have a better quarterback. And I know you guys do have a better defense than they do because the Bills defense, now it was like a top 10 defense last year. So yeah, but in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and just say the Texans are going to get this win because I just need to see the Bills beat the Texans in Houston before I pick them, because Houston's defense pretty much knows how to defend Josh Allen, because we've seen that 2 years in a row. I mean, they did that. They did that in 2024. They did that 2 years ago. And then last year, they beat the Bills without C.J. Stroud last year. So, yeah, and that's when the Texans defense won that game where they caused so many turnovers and all that. And I think they can do that as well. But the Texans offense may not be as good as Buffalo's. But, the Bills at times are very soft. So as long as Texans offense can get the run game going, they should be fine. So, yeah, I think the Texans get their first win of the season. Then week 2 against Cincinnati Bengals. I actually think, this game right here can definitely go either way. Now, most people could be picking the Bengals to win and all that because the Bengals have a better quarterback than you guys. And the Bengals could be a better team than you guys, but I'm actually going to say the Texans get another home win to start 2-0. Because I just really think that the Texans, I just really think the Texans do have the better defense, even despite the Bengals defense improving a lot, adding pieces on defensive line through free agency. I just think the Texans defense might be able to make more plays because you guys do have the pass rush to get after Burrow. You guys do have the corners to match up well against the Bengals receivers. So as long as you don't give up big plays against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you should be fine there. And the Bengals defense is soft at times. I think the Texans offense should be able to move the ball against them. I mean, as long as they lock in, long Stroud's comfortable and has time and all that. So yeah, I feel like Nico Collins can have a good game. Dalton Schultz can as well. And I think David Montgomery can have a good game as well. So I think the Texans win this game at home. And honestly, I think the Texans do have better coaching, have the coaching edge in this game. So yeah, I think the Texans win that game. Week 3 against the Indianapolis Colts. This is your division rival. I actually think the Colts are going to win this game because typically the Colts do play you guys tough. I mean, even we've seen that a few years ago. We've seen the Colts did play the Texans tough. Because, the Colts, I feel they're going to take a step back this year. But I feel like as long as Daniel Jones, if he's healthy, I think the Colts will beat you guys once. And even last year, Houston did sweep them. I mean, that first matchup, they beat them with Daniel Jones. And the second matchup, they beat them with a third-string quarterback. So, Yeah, and that was probably like in the Phillip Rivers area. So yeah. So I kind of really think the Colts are gonna win this game for sure. Um, Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys, the Battle of Texas. This is gonna be a good game here. I can see it going either way. Now, most people could be picking Dallas to win because I feel like Dallas is kind of a challenge because they have a top 5 offense in football. They have great receivers. They can run the football. They have a good quarterback. Their coaching is fine. They have a solid offensive line. Their defense did improve a little bit, adding some pieces, but Dallas defense may not may not be great like it hoped to be. But at the same time, some people could be picking Dallas to win because they have better offense, and Texans do have a better defense as well. But I just don't know if I have a lot of faith in Dallas offense to at least score a lot of points against a really good defense like the Texans. So I'm giving the Texans a win right here, just because I really think that the Texans defense is going to make more plays than Dallas, and Dallas defense, you know, I don't really think it did make improvements, but I don't think it's anything special. I think Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz will be a problem. And I think CJ Stroud and that Texans offense, they should be able to at least like move the ball against him. And I think you should be able to move the ball against him. And I think their old line is going to do a really good job combating, like controlling the Cowboys pass rush because the Cowboys don't really have a great pass rush. So you might be able to run the ball against them. So yeah. And also, I think the Texans are just a more complete team as well. So enter at home. So yeah, that's why I think the Texans will win that game. Week 5 against Tennessee Titans. Actually got them beating the Titans because the Texans are just a much more complete team, have the better quarterback and coaching staff, and the Titans are just a disaster. I mean, I like the improvements. I mean, they're going with the new culture, with the new coaching staff and all that. I mean, the offensive line is mediocre, not great. The defense is probably not as good as they wish they hoped to be, but it did improve a little bit on D line, but not in the secondary. I mean, they lost several guys there. I think the Texans win this game easily, especially they have better offense. They have a better defense as well. So yeah, I think Houston wins that game. Week 6 against the Jacksonville Jags in London. It's not in Jacksonville, but it's in London, which is a home game for the Jags. I'm giving the Jags the win here because I just think Jacksonville, like, is really good in London and they're used to these environments. And I feel like I think this is a game where I could see Jacksonville's defense like overwhelms the Texans offense. And I think Trevor Lawrence and Jags offense will probably make more plays than you guys will because I think the Jags, pretty much have a better offense than you guys, and you guys got the better defense. But I think Jacksonville's probably gonna have more to play for because I feel like they could be a team that can totally make the playoffs or they can barely miss it. So I think Jacksonville is going to win this game for sure. Week 7, they play versus the Giants at home. I think the Texans will win this game for sure because I don't think the Giants are going to be ready for a team like the Texans who have a great defense. Yeah, the Giants made improvements, especially, on the defensive line. I like their head coach. I like the improvements of the offense, adding weapons like OBJ, um, Darnell Mooney, like Malik Neighbors come back from injuries, Cam Scatterby will, and then they also had Isaiah Likely. So the Giants, they made improvements, but I don't think they're there yet, and I don't think they're going to be ready for a defense like the Texans. And especially, I don't think the Giants' offensive line is anything special. I think your D line is going to find a way to dominate the line of scrimmage, which I think you guys will dominate the line of scrimmage. You guys do have to like at least get after Jackson Dart, make him uncomfortable, not let him run around. And then you guys do have the corners to at least match up well with the receivers. I feel like Stingley versus Malik Neighbors is a good matchup. I mean, both of these guys were college teammates. Maybe they can take Malik Neighbors out of the game. Maybe they take one of them out of the game. So, yeah. And I think the Texans' offense is going to make more plays as well because I don't think the Giants' defense is as good as they wish they would be. So I think you should be able to move the ball against them. You should be able to run the ball. You should be able to throw the ball at them. Like, yeah, and especially Texans do have the much more complete roster. They're the more talented team, have a better quarterback, better and they're at home. So, yeah, and that's why I got the Texans win that game. Then you get a bye week, and after the bye week, they got to play on the road against the Chargers in Los Angeles. This game right here is very tricky. I can definitely see this game definitely going either way. Now, most people could be picking the Texans to win because the Texans do know how to play the Chargers really well. Even last year, we've seen the Texans kind of beat the Chargers down last year with their defense. I could see you do it again, but I'm going to go ahead and just give the Chargers the win and get that revenge from last year because playing in LA is tricky. And on top of that, I just feel like the Chargers kind of have a better quarterback. And they're definitely at home. And the Chargers pretty much have a great defense as well. I mean, their defense is like top 5 like last year. So I think maybe, they pretty much do have the pass rush to get after CJ Stroud. I mean, they can stop the run, stop the pass. And I don't see how the Texans offense is going to be able to move the ball against them, especially on the road in LA. Like, yeah. So I think the Chargers win that game there. Week 10 against the Cleveland Browns. I actually think they will beat the Browns because the Browns, they're a disaster. I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the Browns. It's going to be Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson, if it's Deshaun Watson, I don't see how the Browns are going to be able to move the ball successfully. I mean, the Texans should be able to stop the run, load the box, and all that. Like, you guys got they got the much more complete team, had the better coaching staff and better quarterback. Because I feel like CJ Stroud is a better quarterback than Sean Watson. And I just really think that, the defense will make more plays. And I think than the Browns. And I think the offense will too. Because I don't think the Browns defense may not be as good as they wish they would be. Because now Myles Garrett is gone. And they got Jared Verse. But we'll see how that works. And they lost their defense coordinator too in Jim Schwartz, which that kind of hurts. So, yeah, I think the Texans win that game for sure in Cleveland. Week 11, they got to play against the Indianapolis Colts at home on a Thursday night short week. I think they will get the revenge on the Colts and beat them because I really think that the Texans are just a more complete team, have a better quarterback and coaching staff, and they're at home in this game. And I think their defense will make more plays at home, and I think the offense will too. Because I don't think the Colts are going to have much to play for because I don't think the Colts are going to make the playoffs this year. And I feel like the Texans, they're trying to fight for a top seed in the conference. So, yeah, that's why I think the Texans are going to win this game. Week 12 against the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, this game right here can go either way. Now, I know most people could be on the Ravens because the Ravens, they match up well with the Texans really good on paper. But since you're at home, I'm just going to pick the Texans here. Because I just really think that the Texans, are just like the much more. I just think the Texans pretty much have a much more complete defense. And I just think that, your defense matches up well with the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens really have a deep receiving core that can really, get after your secondary. Because I just really think that, your defense will do enough to at least stop the run, contain Lamar, and contain receivers as well. Now the Ravens are dealing with a new coaching staff as well, and the Ravens pretty much almost have a weaker defense than you think. So I think the Texans often should be able to move the ball against them. And even last year, the Texans did beat the Ravens down without Lamar. But I feel like, the game can be a lot closer if both defenses stay competitive. But usually the Ravens usually destroy the Texans. But that wasn't the case last year, but I think it could be. But I think the Texans at home, I think they have an edge here. Week 13, they play against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Now, this game right here could be tricky. This game can go either way. I mean, I know playing in Pittsburgh is a tough environment, but I'm going to say Texans win here because I just really feel like that the Texans, I just feel like that, the Steelers are kind of a bad matchup for the Texans because the Texans, they just match up well with the Steelers really good on paper. Like, they have the defense to contain Aaron Rodgers and all that. And I just think, that I just feel like that the Steelers O line, I don't think is that great. So I think the Texans defense is going to be a handful, especially with their D line. And I really think that they do have the corners to man up against the Steelers receivers. So yeah, which that could force the Steelers to run the ball, which I don't know that they're really going to throw the ball or pass the ball like like you guys are gonna force Aaron Rodgers to beat you, and we know he's not gonna do that. Even like even in the playoffs, the Texans did beat the Steelers down. Like they pretty much did. That's something you gotta remember. That's with Aaron Rodgers though, when they did beat the Steelers down, where the Steelers did not do much offensively, where they had 6 points and the Texans had 2 defensive touchdowns. But I think the Texans are going to find a way to win this game I just think the Texans are just a much more complete team, and they just pretty much are. So I know it's in Pittsburgh, but I feel like the Texans are just a much more complete team, and I think they pretty much have a better defense. And I feel like the Steelers' defense, they got some good players there, but they're very predictable, and they're just a weaker defense than you think. So I think the Texans' offense might be able to make more plays there as well. So yeah, and I think their O line can do a good job controlling the Steelers' pass rush, where that can put the Steelers' defense in a bad position. So yeah, I think the Texans win that game on the road. Then week 14 against Commanders. This is a tricky one. I kind of went back and forth on this, but I might come back to that one. Week 15 against the Jacksonville Jags. I think they're going to split with Jacksonville, so I'm giving the Texans a win here. I just think the Texans are just a much more complete team, have a better quarterback and coaching staff, and they're at home, and they got a much more better defense. So I think that's why I think Houston will win that game in the second matchup. Week 16, they got to play against the Philadelphia Eagles on a Thursday. It's a short week in Philadelphia. I feel like Philadelphia might take a little bit of step back this year because now AJ Brown is gone. They're dealing with new receivers. I mean, they as well. Their O line is still the same. Their defense is still the same, but they did lose some pieces. But they did add some pieces to replace the same quality players. I actually think this is a game that Houston can win because I just don't really know if the Eagles' offense is going to be able to do much without AJ Brown. I mean, I could totally see Houston winning this game because the Eagles' offense could totally struggle without AJ Brown. We know the Eagles cannot run the football, but it don't matter. Game's in Philly, so I'm taking the Eagles here because the game's in Philly where it's tough to play. I mean, Eagles pretty much have a top 10 defense in the league. I mean, they can stop the run, they can stop the pass, and I just really feel like that their secondary is going to find a way to at least because they do have the secondary to cover against the Texans receivers. They have, the defensive line to get after Stroud and all that. And they pretty much have a solid offensive line, which I think they'll do enough to control your pass rush as well. But I think this is a game. I think that I kind of really feel like the Eagles' defense is just going to win them the game itself. And I kind of really feel like the Eagles are just a much more complete roster overall. So, and they're at home in this game. That's why I think the Eagles are going to win this game. Then week 17 against the Green Bay Packers on a Monday night in Green Bay. I'm actually going to say they drop another L and lose back-to-back games on the road. I'm just going to say they're going to lose to Green Bay just because playing in Green Bay is tricky and it's going to be cold there. And we know teams are really not used to playing in the cold, especially towards the end of the year. And this game is actually in January, where it's going to be cold in Lambeau Field. And Parsons probably going to be back by then. And Kraft, I think he'll be back by then. So, yeah, I actually think that the Packers, you know, I actually think the Packers defense could be a challenge here. And they're really good at stopping the run. Like, they can defend the pass okay. I don't really think the Texans offense is going to be able to do much against that. And I just really think that when you look at it from a standpoint, I just really think that, offensively, they could totally make more plays against your defense. So I kind of really think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, but I think this is the game I think the Packers defense wins it itself. So yeah, so I'm going to take the Packers to win this game at home in Lambeau Field. Then week 18 against the Titans. Obviously, I think you will beat the Titans again to sweep the season series because the Titans are not going to have much to play for because they're not going to make the playoffs. And the Texans, like I said, they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. They're trying to fight for a top seed in the AFC. And same result is a better team, better quarterback and coaching staff. So, yeah. And you're at home. So, yeah. So, basically, I have the Texans sitting at 11-5-1. It's not looking pretty bad for sure. So I'm probably gonna say between the Commanders is kind of tough though. I mean the Commanders, they have a great quarterback in Jaden Daniels, but he's a bit overrated. Their offense is really good. Their receiving core may not be good. They can't run the football. Their O line is probably mid. The defense did make improvements, but I don't think they did it in the secondary as well. I mean, that's a game I think Washington can win. But I am going to go ahead and just pick the Texans to win just because I kind of really think that the Texans are just a much more complete team and have the better coaching staff and have the better defense. And I just really think the Texans defense is going to make more plays. And I think their offense is going to make more plays as well. Because I don't think the Commanders' defense is anything special. And I don't think it's going to be good, which they think they would be. So I think the offense has a day here. I think Houston can get the run game going. I think they'll do enough to run the ball. They'll run the ball better than Washington. I think they'll throw the ball better. And I think the O-line will give C.J. Stroud time because Commanders may not have a great pass rush. So, yeah. So I think Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz can have a good game and Tank Dell because I don't think the Commanders really have the defense, have the corners to man up against the Texans receiving core. Against the Texans pass catchers. So I really think the Texans are going to find a way to win this game. But I would not be shocked if Washington won this game, but I just think Houston's going to find a way to pull this one off. So yeah, I got Houston winning that game. So basically, I have the Texans going 12-5. And I feel like that should be good enough to win the division. So yeah, so 12-5 should be good enough to win the division. So I do, like I said, I do have the Texans winning the AFC South because I think they're the team to beat in the AFC South. 4-2 in the division, 9-3 in the conference, 8-0 at home, 4-5 away. I mean, that's pretty good. So yeah, so I feel like 12-5 is good enough. I could see them being as good as 13-4, maybe at best, maybe as bad as 9-8. I don't really see them doing better than 12, 13 wins. I mean, they can do worse than 12 wins like they did last year. But I feel like 12-5 sounds about right. But as you look at the schedule, look at the teams' schedule, I mean, it's very difficult because, they have to play the Bills. They have to play the Bengals, who could be a playoff team this year. They play the Colts twice. They play the Cowboys, who can totally be a playoff team this year. They got to play the Jags twice. They play the Chargers. They play the Ravens, the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Jags twice, like I mentioned. Then they got to play the Packers. So, yeah, so that's a very difficult schedule. So they could totally do worse than 10 wins this year. They can totally be as bad as they could totally go 9-8. Like, I think 9-8 will probably be at worst if everything goes wrong. If the defense starts to take a step back and the offense falls off. But I think their ceiling can be 13-4. The defense can play at a high level and the offense get back playing to where it was. So yeah, so I can totally see them at least like beating teams like I could see them sweeping the Colts. I could see them beating the Chargers. I could really see them beating like the Packers or the Eagles as well, with the Eagles not having AJ Brown in their team. So yeah. Or I could see them losing games like the Steelers. I could see them losing to Washington. I could totally see them losing once to the Titans. I could see them lose to the Bills or the Bengals alike. And many one of those games they could lose to. So I feel like 12-5 sounds about right. I think they go somewhere from like 10 to 12 wins this year. So yeah, so I'm going with 12 wins as well. So yeah, so that's my record prediction for the Texans. So it's 12-5. So let me just know in the comments section below what you guys think. It's Emmanuel Jones, I'm a big fan. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more options and to see more of my NFL record prediction videos in the playlist. So yeah, well, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.